Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Scottish Football Matters with myself, Murray, and my good friend Lorenzo.
How are you doing?
Uh, Good. Yep. This week we're going to do a wee quick review of the one game that went ahead on Tuesday, which was Rangers Aberdeen. Unfortunately, Livingston St Mirren fell foul of the weather. And we'll have a little chat on the transfers, latest ins, possible ins, rumours, what have you. And then we'll do a preview and prediction of the six SPFL Premiership fixtures. So, how's things? Happy Friday and all that?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing not bad. Just glad it's Friday, you know.
Yep.
Uh, and I'm looking
Yeah, I
forward to the
mean,
game tomorrow for the first time in a while, so that's a
I imagine
positive.
you would, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like this is a massive weekend. And
Hmm.
not just the title race, but everywhere. We'll touch on that with the preview and predictions, but I don't think we need to go into too much on Tuesday night's game because
Yeah.
if you've seen the game, it was fairly bog standard. Rangers set pieces quite good. Aberdeen had their chances too, not so good. I think the boy went through. It comes off his shin.
Hmm.
There's another one where Nisbet tries to pass when he should shoot, and overall, Aberdeen weren't good enough to get it out of the game, but you still see frailty within Rangers,
Yeah.
especially very similar to the Celtic game where one pass over the top is really cutting us out. And what I don't like about that is obviously when you play a team twice in a few days, they've seen it up hand and they've now got a chance to rectify.
Well,
Um,
I hope they do.
because you see games like Celtic have probably went, that was a missed opportunity, right? But by the time you play us in the 1st of March, we could have a whole new backline.
No,
You could have different strikers. It's a different game, but
I know.
Aberdeen have a real opportunity to probably live. What I would say is, I don't think there's much more to talk about the game. I think two good set piece goals, great crosses by Connor Barron, but obviously the news that Connor Barron's now going to be out for 2 to 3 months, which is
Hmm.
forget Rangers. I think it's sad for the boy because the way he was playing, I think he was probably set to start the Scotland games in March because
Possibly.
he's not ahead of Gilmore. He's nowhere near
No,
that. But while
no.
Gilmore's out until April, I thought those March games were a chance for Barton to go right. Can I be his understudy? Can I be the like for like? Well,
Hmm.
no, not like for like at all because Barron's more, energy and running about, whereas Gilmore's quality, tempo, control, and things. But I think it's disappointing for Barron because if I'm honest, in the 2 years he's been at Rangers, this is the best I've seen him play over
Hmm.
a sustained period. And
Well,
then, Dujon Sterling, another one that gets
is there
injured,
another
but
one?
that's less of a surprise because it's Dujon Sterling. I
Mm.
mean,
Well, he's
I think
constantly injured, isn't he?
everyone knows that if that boy could be fit, he wouldn't be anywhere near Scottish football, and that's no disrespect to Rangers, but he would be playing at Chelsea. Chelsea wouldn't have released him because
Yeah.
he's as good as what's down there. But if you can only play 10, 15, 20 games a season, then that's no good to anyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Another thing I was going to mention as well is the fact that obviously Connor Barron's out, and I've heard today that Lyle Cameron might have to go elsewhere to get him on loan, find a new club and all that. I've heard that. But do you think with him being injured, that gives Lyle Cameron a chance to get a game for Rangers?
I
Or
think it
is that
should. I think it should, especially for Sunday, and maybe because we play is it Annan next week. It's a lesser
cup
team in the
cup game?
cup. I'm pretty sure. And if ever you're going to have an opportunity to maybe put a couple of games together and see if he's good enough, and then the next one after that's home to Dundee, and
Hmm.
it's a team that Cameron should know well. So if he's ever going to get a chance at Rangers, it's these next three
It's
games.
got to be now,
And I
innit?
think
Yeah.
it'll be telling on because I don't want to see, I'll be honest, I mean, we will go into the preview and prediction, but I don't want to see Asgard anywhere near that team in that type of game. Because as you know, when you go to Pittodrie, right, it's hustle bustle, they're in your
Mhm.
face, and Asgard can't handle that. Asgard needs a game where he can swan about and do things at his own pace. You can
Hmm.
get away with that at Ibrox. You cannot get away with it at Pittodrie because there's less than zero time
Yeah.
to make a pass. We all know
Uh-huh.
what it's like. So I would rather have Cameron than that team because I think he's more up for it. But if we talk on transfers. Obviously,
Yeah.
Rangers are very close to signing a left back, Romans from Westerlo in Belgium.
There's a
From what I've seen of him, he looks like a big boy, which is obviously
mhm.
very. I like that because Magoma's a wee short arse, right? So to have two options, I think it's quite good because I felt that Celtic really targeted that. Because if you see the Yang coming out the back post a couple of times, constantly had to jump on Magoma, and he actually Yang could have scored 2 or 3 that day.
Should have.
But I think that I'm hoping that. Well, I don't know enough about the boy to tell me whether he's going to be good, great, or shite. But the profile of him at 22 looks where we should be, the market we should be in. And I think I'd rather have his signed players than have too many loan players because, as we've
Yeah.
seen at the start of the season, our whole backline was full of loan players.
hmm And
The
you're
other one
also
is
linked with is it Sunderland. The boy comes from
we'll come
Sunderland.
back to that one because I think that's the third one. The one that's closest is obviously the boy for Strumgratz who gets sent off
Uh-huh.
against Celtic. I remember it
Yeah.
being a really high challenge. I
hmm
remember the boy played quite well in the first half when Strumgratz played well, but when Celtic played well in the second half,
hmm
I didn't see much of him. But
He'll fit in. He'll fit in well with Tello Asgard with his high challenges as well.
what I would say is the boy looks, it's the right profile. I mean, you see when you've got Matt O'Reilly, like a Denmark under 21 player, a player that's played 20 times for them. So I'm excited by that profile because that Denmark under 21s team is probably better than a lot of under 21s. So, but again, he looks like a Wanyama type, I would say, a bit like because
Well,
Diomande
you're
has
hoping
attributes,
he's
but
like that,
he's
aren't
like
you?
a twig. He's like a twig, isn't he,
hmm
Diomande? So when you look at Diomande and Raskin, there's not a lot of upper strength. I mean, Raskin's all right for a wee
That's
guy,
what I
but
can't understand about Diamandi, how he is a footballer because he doesn't look like one.
yeah. So and then on to the one you said, Dan Neil. Now, from
hmm
what I've been told, Rangers have agreed a pre-contract with him, right? That was
Right.
agreed maybe a few days ago.
hmm
But after Barron's injury, Rangers are trying to negotiate
They're
with
gonna they're
Sunderland to
gonna
try
just
and get him
pay
early
money to get him up.
because he's a sitting midfielder who
Right.
can actually play a variety of positions. He's like, if I could compare it to anyone, I would say, do you remember Ian Murray back in the day? Like he could
Yep.
play centre mid, centre back, cover fullbacks,
hmm
bit like Sterling does for us now. But
hmm
uh, I can't pretend that I've watched millions of Sunderland. He doesn't really
Oh,
get a game for them in the
no,
Premiership,
I've
right?
seen one
But when he
Sunderland.
was in the Championship, he got a game. So, but obviously he's one of those players that's a good Championship player, but not good enough for the
Who
Premiership.
was it? Who was it that was the manager of Sunderland again? Was it Michael Beale? And he didn't last very long. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 But,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's where Rangers are at. I think there's. I don't think we'll be targeting the front line until the end of the transfer window.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to get Danilo out and maybe a couple other ones out. Because we can't have a 30-man squad.
Far too
So,
big. Same with
but
Celtic. Celtic will probably have to shake it up a
there were
bit.
a few outs as well, aye.
Yeah.
But what is the latest with Celtic? I mean,
Well,
obviously there was Kyogo stuff yesterday, which
it,
Martin O'Neill sort of not poured cold water on, but he sort of said that it's looking less likely than likely
sounds as
at
if
the
he's wanting to
moment.
stay. It sounds as if he wants to stay there and fight for his place. Um, Me on the whole Kyogo situation, I would have taken him. I know a lot of fans were like, "Oh no, he left, and he's a bit older now, and he's got a dodgy shoulder and all that kind of stuff." But see, to be honest, see for
Also a dodgy shoulder,
see
but
see see, see for the what do you call it, the short term in terms of
yeah,
this
and
season,
knowing the
getting him
team and
in.
knowing the league,
He knows the team, he knows the league. He can score goals up here. He's done it
yeah.
before. I would have taken him in an absolute heartbeat, but it's just a shame that if it doesn't happen, then I'm a bit disappointed.
Do you think it's going to be a bit of a short term sort of vision for this transfer window? So like more like loans till the end of the season, or you know
I would say so. I would think so
maybe
because
I don't
obviously
want to say
Martin's
short
not going to
term
be here any
vision,
longer than to the end of the season. So
but
anything that we bring in, this one will be a loan. It might
Well, I
not
see
be.
he's
Who knows?
linked with three Hibs players.
Is one
Obviously,
of them? One
Mulligan,
of them's
Bowie,
Bowie.
and Taiwa. Yeah, so
Hmm.
we're linked with Bowie as well.
Aye,
I
well,
actually get the feeling that Bowie will go to one of us.
I get the
I
feeling
reckon it'll be a dead
it'll be
Monday.
Celtic. I think he'll go to Celtic. I think he'll come to Celtic.
Matt, where do you think he gets the best chance of playing? That's a good question. Because,
Well, I'd say Celtic because we need a striker.
yeah, it's a difficult one because if you told me a month ago, right, I'd have said Rangers is where's the best chance of playing. But since Ian Acho's injury and
Yep.
Kenny not really hitting the levels, his movement and stuff's great, but you need to be
Hmm.
able to finish.
Boy
Uh,
Mulligan's good as well. I like the look of the Boy
I like
Mulligan.
to say that.
And Chai was
Honestly,
good as
I
well.
wish Chai was. He's
Chai.
one of those players. I remember he scored a worldie in the Europa League. Right, he came on like just one of the qualifying games, and he
So did
looks a
Bowie.
player. Yeah, he did. But I think Chaiwa, he looks like one of those. I don't want to say Glenn Kamara types. I will say Glenn Kamara, right? Because he seems to be a 9 or a 2. Like
Mhm.
there's like when he's on it, he looks like he's the best player in the park, but often he just looks invisible.
Mhm.
And I think that's what I would say because he can't really get a game for Hibs week in week out, and I think that shows you that they'd rather have a Mulligan play in there he's not really a centre mid, but they'd rather have him in there because they know that they're constantly getting 6, 7, or 8
Yeah.
of them. And what I would say is Chai was it's a good age profile, 21, but
Mhm.
I don't think
It's
that's
a
the Celtic
sellable
need right
asset.
now. I think you
Um,
need a bit more experience actually in
I
that
would say so. That's why I was hoping that Kyogo would
area.
have come back for that reason.
Yeah.
Um, but
Are
I'm
you
wondering if
surprised you're not linked with a centre back?
we're not linked to a centre back. Is that
I've
what you're
not
saying?
seen you linked with a centre back, and that surprises me because I look, I look at your centre back options, and I'm like, well, you've got Trusty, right? Because forget about Carter Vickers, he's done for the season,
I
right?
said, well, but the thing is, we've got Nawrocki out on loan. Can we not recall him back for his loan? There must be
Well,
something that in an
because
emergency you can bring your own player back. I mean,
yeah,
take him
I
back.
just look at your centre backs, and if we're not including Tierney and Ralston as centre backs, because let's be honest, that was
Because they're,
only a Nancy
well,
thing,
they're no,
right?
obviously. Tomorrow we know it'll be back to the flat back four. That's it.
Yeah, but if you've got Scales and Trusty playing, right, which is fine, right,
Right.
absolutely fine. But if
And
you
the back
pick up a
four,
red
aye.
card, if you pick up a red card, right, or a small injury, right, Dane Murray's coming in.
I
And I'm
know.
not
And
going to be disrespectful to the boy because I think he looked really good in pre-season,
They did.
really decent against that level of like a Falkirk or Livingston, right? But when he played at Tynecastle, he got ripped a new
I
one.
know.
Now that can happen to anyone, right? Because by the way, Donovan got ripped a
I
new
like,
one that day,
but I
right?
like the boy
But he's a
Donovan. The
good
boy
player.
Donovan looks as if he's
Yeah.
going to be good.
But I've heard he's close to going to Dundee. Is that true?
I heard that
On
myself.
loan,
Yeah, I heard
yeah.
that myself.
But Presley wanted him at the start of the season. It
I
was
would
only because
actually,
of Johnston's injury.
I would play him, and at the minute I'd play him ahead of Ralston, but
Yeah, but
I'm not
then
the
you've got
manager.
Araujo in as well.
Well,
So
that's a boss, right? I forgot about him.
what happens when you've got
Aye.
Araujo, Johnston, Ralston? He could, potentially could be fourth choice.
Well, is he going to play Araujo tomorrow then? Do you think?
Well, I'd imagine so. Yeah, if
You,
it's a
you would
flat
think
back
you would.
four.
You would have to play him. Ah, actually, it's funny enough. I forgot about him. But we're
So
also linked. What are you going to say? Sorry, finish off.
no, I just think it'd be a good move for Donovan because I think,
Aye.
like I'm saying with Curtis and Cameron at Rangers, if they ain't getting a game for us, they're as well playing 6 months in this league to get them ready to get a game for us next year.
Hmm. The boy that I'm going to mention next, his name escapes me. I know he's a Canadian, and we're apparently, what I heard yesterday, one step away from
That's the boy
getting him.
for Zagreb. Is it?
Yeah,
He's playing in Croatia. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a
He's
holding midfielder, and
Canadian.
he looks the part because
Aye,
anyone who comes out of that Croatian league will be tough. They'll be robust. They'll
because
be
if we
good
get,
from the
that's a good
tackle.
signing. That looks
Yeah,
as if it could be a good signing in
but
order
it
to be a
feels like it
replacement
was
for
a
McGregor.
Tisdale one. So
See,
I don't know
that's
if
the
Mark
thing. You
Lanier will
don't.
look at that and go, no.
Yeah. Well, the
But
boy we
then they're
said we.
going through with the boy Tabi, so
I
maybe.
know. Signed him, but he's signed today apparently.
No, but I've got to admit, I'm very surprised. I think the goalkeeper needs addressed, but I would say that could wait till the summer.
I would actually give Sinisalo a chance. I'm thinking Sinisalo will play against Auchinleck Talbot. It's got to
No,
be.
well, but I think Doohan will play against Auckland,
Do you think so? Well, if that's the case,
like,
Sinisalo will be away. If you
because I
can't put
think
Doohan in front of Sinisalo, surely.
I
Sinisalo's
think
second choice.
I think Sinisalo plays tomorrow,
Do you?
and I think Doohan plays in the
Well,
cup,
I
and then
don't think so
Sinisalo comes
because
back in.
Martin O'Neill has praised Schmeichel for his
Yeah, but he's not an idiot. He's must have watched the games under Nancy, and let's be honest, there's
I
a
hope
couple of
so.
goals that went in that he just can't get down to. Like, I know some people have been
It's his left
having
shoulder, isn't it? That shoulder injury he
people have
got.
been having a pop at his weight and whatnot, right? But I don't think that's an issue. He's always
His
been quite
shoulder.
big one. But the problem is he can't get down to low shots because you should be saving Mikey Mills. I don't blame him with the other two for Trimity because, you know, that was more, he shouldn't be getting those chances. You can look at other
Mm-hmm.
people, but I don't think they're goalkeeping errors. But there has been ones recently that I've seen for Celtic where I go, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
even for instance, like, the Motherwell first goal,
Well, the
that ball's
Motherwell.
in the air for about, 5-6 seconds and it lands about the 6 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a keeper that's over 6 foot, right, and he's a big lad, you should be commanding that area coming for it.
Not
So
just the first
there's
goal. Look at the stadium for the second goal. It was his fault.
well, that's more the way they're trying to play out under
I,
Nancy, though.
well,
I don't think
it's
Martin
Nancy's
O'Neill will have
fault
his
as well,
goal.
though. Yeah,
I don't think
Nancy's
Martin
fault.
O'Neill. But then I don't know if, but I still think though that he should be commanding his area better. I mean, goalies make mistakes. Look at Butland. You could argue he made a mistake for the Yang goal, right? Some people blame him. Some people say it's a great strike. It's probably a bit of both.
I think it was a good strike.
I think it's a bit of both, though. Do you know what I mean? In terms of
fair enough.
But the way he reacted to it was excellent because he makes save after
I know. When we
what
should
I'm
have been
seeing
3 or 4 up at half time, you would
what
imagine.
I'm saying is with Schmeichel, I'm not seeing him make save after save the way he was last year.
Last season, I know. I think what's knackered Schmeichel is the injury that he got playing for Denmark. That's
maybe
it.
he rushed him back as well.
Aye,
Because I remember coming back to that cup final and made an
this,
absolute arse it.
done the same with Alistair Johnson, and he got injured right away.
Yeah, but what's the timescales on him? Are we talking end of February?
I think Martin O'Neill said kind of March time, maybe the beginning of March. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's got February. And Jota must be the end of January.
I'm
pretty sure Jota's the end of January.
Right, okay, I'd heard more February, but
I just hope that he's going to be a good player when he comes back.
I would
might not be the same type of player because of the injury.
All I'm going to say is, from experience of watching it, the same injury with Yanis Hadji, we brought him back in around the January time after being out for a full year. And he was never quick, to be fair. So I think you'll see different things, but he was definitely 2 or 3 yards slower. He was 2 or 3 yards slower, Hadji, when he came back. And I think with Hadji, like, he was never quick, right? But he always had a wee burst, if you know what I mean, like over 2 or 3 yards. And you could tell his brain was still brilliant, right? Because he was a good footballer, Hadji, right? Mm-hmm. And nothing on his dad, right? But he was good for the Scottish game. Do you know what I mean? And his brain was there, but his body wasn't doing. And I could see actually watching him was heartbreaking.
Well, it wasn't that long ago. Talking about transfers, Celtic were linked to him not too long ago, Hadji.
Really?
Aye.
Yeah, that's a strange one. But we keep getting linked with Leila Bada, don't we? So you never know with these things. So
I know. But then would Hadji come to Celtic? I don't think so.
Would a Bada come to Rangers? I don't think it'd be worth his life based on all. Not right now. I think if all the. I mean, I don't think that'll ever go away. The Palestine.
No, probably won't. So he probably won't sign for Rangers.
But I do think if that was less of a big.
I think if it was less of a thing, he wouldn't allow Celtic. I think he'd maybe possibly still be there.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, in terms of what he does, he's exactly what we need. Excuse me. Goals from that wide position, because I think Andrew Kavanagh said and by the way, this is something that your board need to do, right? And I'm not going to dish your board because everyone else does, right? But Andrew Kavanagh sat down with the fan media group.
We need to get that sorted. I'd rather the Green Brigade were in tomorrow, if I'm honest. He wants it as well. So
he was telling the Rangers fans, everything that's happening, the latest on the CEO, and he's even agreed, right, to apparently go on a podcast. I mean, this is Rangers.
Andrew Kavanagh, is this your equivalent of like Dermot Desmond? Is this the same?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Dermot Desmond he never speaks. You never hear Dermot Desmond, so it's never going to happen.
Do you not think that's so refreshing? Like,
Of
I'm
course it
not
is.
saying, let's be honest, Rangers have been the worst run club for decades, right? But now it looks like we've actually got people who have got their heads screwed on. Whether that makes the right decisions is time will tell, right?
Hmm.
But I like that. It's refreshing to see somebody say, I can go on a podcast. I mean, could you imagine Dermot Desmond going on like Celtic Fans TV or anything?
Celtic State of
Absolutely
Mind
not.
with Paul John Dykes, no chance.
No, never. But the fact that, Andrew Cavan is willing to do these things, he said
Hmm.
it's going to be something towards the end of the season because the full focus is on, and
Hmm.
even that, like Rangers, I know we don't have a, obviously we're going to fill the positions pretty soon, but the amount of times even when Thelwell was useless, he was still fronting up the camera. He was still on camera and going, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. And Celtic still haven't addressed that. I mean, I think Michael Nicholson just puts like 2 or 3 lines in at the end of things and does bugger all else.
I heard also today that apparently, what's his name? Oh, he's the manager of Portugal at the minute. Roberto Martinez
Yeah,
is
yeah.
he's apparently helping Sean Maloney at the minute. Uh,
Well,
look for players, and I'm like, well, what's that all about?
well,
Because if
that would
that's
be an
it,
interesting
does
one
that mean that
because
Martinez is going to be the next manager? I mean, I don't know.
it could make sense because Maloney could, because let's be honest, the World Cup won't finish till, and obviously let's just go with worst
But
case
we've got
scenario, right?
qualifiers as well, though, Murray. I mean, it'll
The World
finish when?
Cup won't finish till mid July, right?
Aye, that's when the
And the
qualifiers start.
qualifiers will start around then, right?
Aye.
But if Martinez is away and he's in constant dialogue with Maloney, and Maloney's his number two, for instance, then why I don't see any issue with that. Why couldn't
No,
Sean
neither they
Maloney
are.
take some friendlies
Neither they are.
until he's
But
ready? And let's be honest, Portugal, there's no guarantee Portugal go
going to get to the final anyway.
all the way anyway, because I looked at their path, see if they win their group, they're likely to face Spain in like the last 16. The way it's all kind of, and if they lost that game, he could be there by the start of July. So
Hmm. I've heard that, obviously, and I've heard rumours that Stevie Clark might be the manager after the summer of the World Cup and all.
well, he'll probably be home quicker.
Well, you would imagine so, but out of the two of them, I'd prefer Roberto Martinez, if I'm honest.
I think they've both got positives and they've both got flaws.
Yeah.
What I would say is that Martinez hasn't won enough. If I'm
No, he
totally honest,
hasn't.
in
He
terms of
hasn't. But at least
really won that FA
he's got
Cup with
knowledge. He's
Wigan.
got knowledge of He's got knowledge, and he's worked with
He worked
kind
with
of
great players.
good play.
Exactly.
World class players, I'd say. Aye, aye,
I mean, Belgium, Portugal.
aye. That's right. So
That's.
he's worked with a
But
lot of good players.
I think whereas Steve Clark knows the Scottish game and has managed in this league. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously Roberto Martinez played at Motherwell, didn't he?
But it was a long time ago he played for Motherwell, though, wasn't it? It's a good while
Doesn't
ago.
matter. I mean, it was a long
I
time
know.
ago that Simo Valakari played for Motherwell, but he's still done all right at St Johnstone.
Hmm.
I mean, I know they get relegated, but let's be honest, I think they were already on their way down anyway.
Yep. And we've
They've
got
got them for that week.
people were talking during the week there and all about Jens Bertalasco. Well, we'll see.
I think he should be an
Need to
option
wait
if, depending on where Motherwell end up this season.
where they finish.
Yeah,
But
because
I'm not
as we've
wanting.
seen with Jimmy Keelan, you can do something
Aye.
great for a wee while and then the
Hmm.
bubble bursts.
I'm not wanting the same thing to happen if we were to go for Jens Bertalasco and it ends up like a Wilfred Nancy situation again.
But you don't want it to
No,
end up like Jimmy Keelan either. That
no,
it does work in this league,
I don't
but
think it
short
will
term.
happen again. No, can you see Celtic appoint another manager that they sack after a month? That's unheard of. It's not going to happen
Put it
again.
this way,
That was a
what I
freak
would say is
thing.
somebody mentioned something on one of the, I think it was one of those like Daily Record or Scottish Sun podcast things, right? And they said it's telling, right, that the three top teams in the league, right, have now all got quite pragmatic managers that don't really care about style. It's about results.
That's
It's
it.
about,
That's what it's all
and
about.
if you look at Derek McInnes, that's exactly what he is. If you look at Martin O'Neill, that's exactly what he is. And if you look at the evidence, although it's a smaller sample size, if you look at the evidence so far you've seen under Danny Rule, it's certainly results first.
And if you remember
Performance.
and if you remember what I told you last week or whenever it was I spoke to you, um, the whole thing under Wilfred Nancy, he was going for style over substance. That's the correct terminology. He
Yeah,
he wanted them to play in a certain way, whereas for me, even if they played badly, as long as they won, I didn't care. I
yeah.
like to see them play pretty football and sexy football, whatever you want to call it. But I just want them to win. So under
There
O'Neill,
was,
when he was there, we weren't great in every game, but we won all the games, bar that one game against Midtjylland in Europe.
that's levels.
Aye,
Let's be honest.
I
I
know that,
mean,
but he done
the
a
only
great
the
job
only
while
team
he was
they,
there.
the only team they came, but then it's just more just the results he
Even
got here. I mean,
and
away to
everybody's saying
Hibs,
the Feyenoord
and
and all, but Feyenoord are a good
aye,
side
that's
when
a
they want to
big
be, I
result.
suppose. It
A
was a
big
great
result,
result. I think that was a
no
great
matter
result.
what. That's a bit
Aye.
like people. That's a bit like people putting down Rangers win at Celtic Park because Nancy was in charge. It's still winning at Celtic Park. It's still a big achievement,
I know, but
regardless of
what I said about
they've got
that is
good
that
players.
if we'd
You
have had
still
a
need to
different
beat good
manager in,
players.
or
Oh,
if he'd have
I
had a
know.
bit, if he'd have had a bit of clout or a bit of nous, you change your tactic in the second half, and that way that us being one up. If we're 1-0 up under a different manager, that second half collapse doesn't
I
happen.
know.
Only would
I
only
just
happen
think
under him.
my comparison on it was just the fact that you could see that Feyenoord were a team that were low on confidence, and that's why. Not that they collapsed, but they also went a goal up, and then Celtic
Aye.
grew into the game, and
Well,
it's quite.
we've caught them at about a good time, I suppose, for us
I
then.
think we caught you at a good time. If we had caught you a week later, he might not have been in
Mhm.
charge. So
Well, they should have been away after the Motherwell game, and if he'd have been away after the Motherwell game, I don't think he should have beat us because Martin would have been
I
under
think
then, and
I know, but we'll still to really see
he should have been
how
away.
Martin.
Should not have been given the Rangers game. I mean, let's face it. Come on, it shouldn't have been.
We
But
need to see how Martin O'Neill's and Danny Rowe's teams go against each other because I know they had that cup game, but I think any game where you get a red card, and I don't think you can make a full assessment. But I'll be interested to see over these two league games, one at Ibrox, one at Parkhead. This is going to be interesting to see. Is
uh,
it experience over
and
youth?
then
What's but I think a
we
lot will
could
be
face
down
each
to.
other in the cup and all again. The Scottish Cup could be.
But I think a lot is going to be about who comes out of January better and stronger, and I think momentum's key as well.
I
Like I
just
think
hope
if Celtic can get a
Celtic
few,
don't leave
few
it.
wins in a row,
Hmm.
and then if Rangers can, because we will come on to the predictions because I think this is a massive weekend, but we will start at the bottom of the league because there's a big game down there
Aye.
between Livingston and Kilmarnock because you've got Livingston who can't buy a win, you've got Kilmarnock who can't buy a win.
Hmm.
But what Kilmarnock have done is they've brought in a new manager, and what they'll be hoping for is that new manager bounce, that different voice that might get
Yep.
an extra. I don't know, just running that extra few yards. I really don't know with this one because my prediction on this one, my head's sort of saying one each, right? Because I don't think either side can buy a win,
Hmm.
and when a new manager comes in, they don't always lose their first game.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go bold here, right? I'm going to go Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 2, just because I think Kilmarnock have more at the top end of the pitch, and like Bruce Anderson used to play for Livy as well. You could imagine him going there and scoring. And that John Jules looks decent in front of goal as well. And I just think, although they don't have Watson, because Watson
Hmm.
will be suspended, won't he, from that,
Yep.
which I still think was an incredibly harsh red card, but it's by
Yeah.
the by. Yeah, I think I'm going to edge, not because it's Neil McCann and Billy Dodge, it's nothing to do with that. I think it's just the fact that it's a new manager, whereas Livingston's players are still hearing the same voice and they're not reacting to it.
Hmm.
And I just think that, and by the way, I don't think that means Kilmarnock are guaranteed to be safe or are going to do what Dundee have done and put 3 or 4
No.
wins together. I don't think that at all. I just think for Saturday, they'll get that new manager bounce. So I'll go 2
I'm
1.
agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I think they'll get the new manager bounce, and I'm agreeing with the scoreline as well. I think it'll be 2-1
Yeah.
because Livingston are obviously in that predicament with the manager. They can't seem to get out of it, and they'll get their new manager bounce and get the 3 points.
Yep. Next game on Saturday to talk about, we might as well go to Celtic Park. You've got Celtic against Dundee United.
Mhm.
Speaking of new manager bounces or old
Yeah,
manager or
old and
85th
new.
game manager, um,
Yeah.
I think the same again. They'll get a bounce. I don't think Celtic will keep a clean sheet. I still think that there's frailties back there, and I think Dundee United are always good for a worldie. They always score a good goal. But I think Celtic will come away 3-1. But I think there'll still be panicky moments. But I think you want a panicky moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know you're going to say, no, I want a 3-0 win and I don't want it. But you're going to want to see if those players can overcome adversity.
You might laugh at what I'm going to predict. You might laugh at what I'm going to predict. I think we will keep a clean sheet because I think he'll win it. I get what you're saying about the back and the frailties. I think with the back four being back in there, I think with Martin O'Neill in there, we'll get tight at the back. And team are due this off Celtic. I think Celtic will win 4-0. There that's my prediction. I think
you did get some good results. I mean, I think you scored a 4 against Kilmarnock, am I right? And Falkirk.
Well, we scored 4 against Livy, but we conceded 2, obviously.
So, what I would say though is that was Nancy. But I don't think Martin O'Neill will come up against the strongest teams at home, if I'm totally honest. I think Dundee United are stronger than those two in terms of the way they set up away from home. But by the way, I think Falkirk will give you a right good game at Falkirk next week because it'll be cold, horrible, it'll probably be raining.
It's a game in hand.
So I think that'll be a real test. Yeah, but I think Celtic. I'm going to say 3-1 just because I think Dundee United are always good for a goal, and that's Absford just always scores against both of us. I think next game, Hibs against Motherwell. This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with a very boring, even though the game won't be boring, but I'm going to go with 2 each. 1 each, 2 each. 2 each, I'll go for it because they're both good going forward. I just can't split them because it's at Easter Road.
Yep, and the 2 of them are on good form now as well. So,
but I do think the 2 of them are a wee bit below the other 3 that are above them.
I'd say that's
in terms of consistency
as well. I think that'll be a draw as well. Yeah.
St Mirren Falkirk. I'm going to go for a very, very narrow 1-0 win to St Mirren because I just think that this is the type of game that St Mirren win. That I think the likes of Kelly and Livingston and that they don't win.
But apparently, I've heard a stat that they've scored the least amount of goals at home this season, St Mirren. So
that's why I'm going to win.
It's a crazy start.
But I think Falkirk went up to Dundee and lost 1-0, and I think it'll be something quite similar. It might even be a penalty like Dundee got, but I think it'll be a tight 1-0 win.
I'll go the other way. I think Falkirk will win 1-0.
Right, okay. On to Sunday, we've got Dundee Hearts, which I'm going to go, and it might be a shock, but I'm going to go 1-1, just because Dundee have won the last 3. Simon Murray's back as well from his suspension.
Yeah.
And I think he adds a bit at that front line because I think although Hay scored and Hay should start because he scored against Dundee United, I think if you can bring on Simon Murray late on, I felt that when Chimiki came on against Hearts, I thought see somebody pressing them. The back line looked a bit ropey when someone really had that energy up there, and I think Dundee will get a point.
I'm not going to disagree with you because I think Hearts will start to feel the pressure now that Rangers and Celtic are actually breathing down their neck. I think they will. So I agree with you. I think that'll be a draw as well. I think it'll be 1-1 as well.
Yeah, this is the one I'm torn, right? I'm torn on Aberdeen Rangers. I'm really torn between 1 each and 2-1 Rangers.
Right.
And the only reason I say that is because I know that Bojan Miovski is going to score because he's on 49 goals in the SPL. You know he's going to get his 50th. You know he's going to run around that whole stadium and run right up them.
He's going to get booed every time he touches the ball.
He will, but I just think Rangers will. It feels more heart over head, right? But I think if Rangers are serious title challengers, they need to win this game. But I don't think it's all hope is lost if it's 1 each. I really don't, because I think Celtic will draw games, Hearts will draw games. But I'm going to say 2-1, just on the back of I think Hearts will draw before it. And I think that will give Rangers that wee boost to get a very scrapey 2-1.
I'll go with your other result that you thought it might be. I'll say 1-1. I think I'll go for a draw. To be a wee bit controversial.
I don't think it's controversial because if they were more clinical on Tuesday night, they could have got something.
Aye.
And it's always different. And I think if you take Barron and Sterling out of that team,
Aye.
that might, you know. But I think
Yep.
it'll be interesting. I think next week, obviously, we'll come back on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll review all that. And I think, obviously, with next week being a Scottish Cup one, I don't know that we should do a Friday one. I think maybe we should
Wait
just
a
do the
miss.
Monday one and talk about, because there's too many games. There's 32
That's
games or
right.
something. It's madness.
That's
So,
right.
like,
That's
I
aye.
think maybe we'll just do a wee quick review of the games for the weekend. We'll talk ahead to a couple of the Scottish Cup. We'll mention what the games are, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll not be doing predictions, and then we'll come back on the next Monday and just speak about the
Right.
Scottish Cup results and the draw.
Okay.
Cool. So we'll
Aye.
leave it there.
Yep.
Cool.
Right.
Right. Have a good one.
Right. You too, mate. Thanks again. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.